did you say he colluded? Well, people in his orbit, we believe, spoke with members of the Russian government. And he went to outline it. So, when you say he was colluding, how is he colluding? Well, he was colluding because other people nearby him. So that's guilt by association? Got it. So if a friend of yours is a murderer, and you're friends, and he's a good friend of yours, that means that you believe in guilt by association.
This is bad faith. Who's Paul Manafort
Well,
to Trump? Who is Paul Manafort to Trump? And what were these crimes?
Robert Mueller lied under oath? Robert Mueller lied under oath?
Well, hold on. Rerun what your own quote was. He didn't say he thought Trump was innocent. He said he couldn't find evidence proving he was guilty. I ask you again, is OJ innocent?
No. He said,
so shut up and let me finish, because you just want to deflect, and you're doing a fucking good job of it. You're doing your best effort to not look at the truth because it's your guy. Meanwhile, we all know for a fact if this was a Democrat, no one would be bending over backwards like this. You are fucking a charlatan right now. This is disingenuous as fuck.
Wait.
No, I asked you a question. Who is Paul Manafort to Trump?
You a question, and then you shut up.
Who is Paul Manafort to Trump?
I'll answer yours.
He said he's his
I'll answer
friend.
yours.
He was his campaign fucking chair. Okay. Are you serious?
Oh, okay.
He was his campaign chairman. What the fuck are you even? He was some random guy. He's just some guy that Trump knows. Shut the fuck up. You shouldn't even get to talk after saying that. You shouldn't even get to talk after saying that. You just said he was some random guy.
Speak truth.
Holy
shit.
And you cut me off, by the way. You cut me off Robert Mueller testified that he couldn't prove it. What?
Hold on, King.
You never testified he thought
we got to defuse this.
Yeah, I never said once.
We got to defuse this. We need one mic.
Yeah. So let me.
We're going to let King talk, then Truth. Calm down a bit, Truth. It's not that serious. Trump's won.
So just to be clear, I said that Robert Mueller said under oath. He never said, so this guy lied and said, you said that he said he couldn't prove it, guilt. He never said that. I said that he said that either. So that was a lie right there. So for a guy who's truth, he just lied that I said that. So I didn't say that. What I said was, and the exact quote of Robert Mueller is, when asked, did you know, or is there any evidence or any communication? He said, no. He said, there's nothing that we were able to find. And he also said later, if you listen to his testimony, that there's no inclination that Donald Trump himself spoke. However, he did say people in his orbit did. And then he went on to explain the people in his orbit. Then, and a later question was, Donald Trump aware of these activities? He said he didn't know if he was aware of these activities. Okay. Then a question came to him. If you watch his testimony, it's great. I mean, the testimony right when the report came out. And then they also talk about John Podesta, who was the chair of Hillary Clinton's campaign. And they asked about conversations. They said, yes, he had conversations with foreign governments, including Ukraine. He said, oh, okay. Well, I mean, there's also evidence of things that the Ukraine did. He said, well, we weren't able to find evidence of any connection between Hillary Clinton and Ukraine and those allegations. We did investigate them, but we were unable to find. So according to Truth, that doesn't mean she's not guilty of colluding with Ukraine, which would also be an offense. So the point I'm getting at here is that you have a person under oath who was in charge of investigation saying he didn't see anything, but there's people who were involved in these people's circles who had connections to some of the most nefarious people all around the world, and they were in high levels of their campaigns. These aren't random people. I was giving you an example, saying if you as a person are associating with someone, even a VP of your company or someone who's doing something nefarious, that doesn't mean that you're guilty of what that person's doing, unless you were involved or you were instructing that person, or that person was operating at your interest and says they were operating in your interest, or there's some evidence that they were operating in your interest. So that is the point that he brought up. Now, he did say he felt that the evidence pointed to Paul Manafort and other people being arrested. He wouldn't exonerate Trump also, because he just said he didn't know and he couldn't find it. He also didn't exonerate Hillary Clinton and her involvement with John Podesta and her connections to Ukraine. So I'm just saying that there's no evidence to show what was happening in both those areas. You don't have evidence. So you have a belief, and that's fine. You're entitled to your belief. That's all.
Okay, so, and this is what opened with OJ, right?
Because what can be proven in court versus what's common sense are two different things. Everyone understands this. That's the whole innocent before proven guilty. Second, these were not random people in his circle. This was literally his entire fucking campaign staff, including his son, Donald Jr. Like, hello?
Yeah, but there was no proof that they ended up conspiring with Russia in order to help them win the election. That's the fucking
So just
part.
let me finish, please, respectfully. Just let me finish. So when we go through, right? So here's what we know for a fact. Here's what was proven. Russia was interfering in the election. That's not even contested. If that's contested, now we have to go do it.
With Donald Trump?
Hold on. With Trump Jr. Hold on.
Was
With
Russia
Trump
in
Jr.
collusion with Trump?
Why did you make me listen in for 5 minutes and you are so biased? I'm literally 2 words in and you're interrupting me. And then you'll say, calm down. Let me fucking finish. God. I know I'm not here to say what you want me to say. I'm here to say what I have in my head. What is that to throw me off, bro? So, Don Jr., and this is how I fucking know you guys are biased as fuck. Imagine this is a Democrat and his literal son is involved, and you're like, well, I don't know, guys. Let's defer to assuming he's innocent. Just fucking say you're biased and let's move on. Because at this point, you don't care about the truth.
You know what? Truth is right.
Okay, then let me fucking finish. Then let me finish. Then let me finish.
Can you hear me?
So we got Trump Jr., Jared Kushner. Shut up. Let me fucking finish.
Truth is right. Hold on, Truth. I just want to say to everyone,
Trump
listen
Jr.,
to Truth.
Jared Kushner, Paul Manafort. That's his wife's husband, his son, and the manager of his campaign.
His wife's husband?
You're
Wow.
like, no, but Trump didn't know. Trump didn't know. No, the person he's putting in charge of the Middle East knew. The chairman of his fucking campaign knew, and his first son knew, but he didn't know. He didn't know, guys. And that's me being unbiased and objective and honest. I'm not. I swear, I'm not just riding fucking Trump's nuts. Nothing he does is ever bad.
No. Actually, I'm conceding Truth. You were right. With Donald Trump's son being on the board of an energy company while he was serving in office is disgusting. And to say that he didn't know that his son was doing that his son was getting involved in these Chinese activities and Chinese companies and actually colluding with those countries and trying to ensure that the outcome that he wanted so he could protect himself from getting in trouble in those countries and using, that is just disgusting. And that should, Joe, he is right that the fact that a president or any elected person's kid would do that kind of shit means that person must have known. And thereby, the sitting vice president at that time must have known that his son was involved and that a prosecutor who was going after his son was there, and that if he fired that person, it would benefit his son. I agree with Truth. I'm going to agree with him that Trump probably knew all this stuff. I'm hoping he's going to agree that Barack Obama and Joe Biden both knew what Hunter Biden was up to and what he was doing with all of these countries and what he was doing with the companies in these countries and was doing that shit. If he's willing to admit that and say that these guys sold the presidency and sold the vice presidency, I'll consider Truth an honest player. But if he doesn't, then he's just a fraud.
Well, bro, I'm no
It's my turn, Truth. Hold on, it's my turn. I get an opportunity.
Can I speak when you're done without being interrupted for 30 seconds?
Anybody hear me? Anybody?
And stop being gaslit. Like, why are you getting mad? I'm only cutting you off after you listen for 5 minutes patiently. Like, what the fuck?
Joe, go ahead. Or is it my turn?
Well, I was just going to make the point. Look, we know the whole collusion story comes from the Steele dossier. At first, it was paid for by GOP operatives, largely associated with John McCain. Then it was hired by, then Fusion GPS was hired by Perkins Coie Law Firm, which is Mark Elias, which is a notorious activist lawyer. He was working on behalf of Hillary Clinton. We all know this comes and stems directly from being political opposition papers that were intended to try and frame Donald Trump as working in collusion with Russia, and he was colluding with them to win the presidency. Now, years later, we got to see that it turned into the fallout with Ukraine and the war between Russia and Ukraine, and so on and so forth. Matt.
Actually, I'm in a bad spot now. Yeah, go ahead. Just keep going.
Well, hold on, Joe.
cut out, Naveen.
Yeah, King, you're not there.
Look, I would like to speak for 30 seconds uninterrupted. And not told to calm down.
They were excited. Look what Truth wrote in the
adults. We're adults. It's going to happen. Okay, just speak, make your points, and be quick about it.
Hold on. Notice that we're adults. I listened to King for 5 minutes on mute, Joe. And none of you
for 5
interrupted him
minutes. I
because you
never
agree
speak
with
for
him.
5. Hold on,
No,
Truth.
none of you interrupted him
Hold on,
because you
King.
agreed.
No, he's arguing against my moderating ability.
If you're an adult, then don't interrupt someone asking to be not interrupted.
Truth, I don't ever speak for 5 minutes.
No, I said King spoke for 5 minutes, which is fine. I have attention. But I didn't interrupt him once.
Yeah, but we try not to pancake. We try to make points and pass the mic.
Bro, no, this is bias. Just say you're biased. Just say it then. Did anyone interrupt King? Because you agree with him. So just say you're biased. Just say you're fucking biased.
I've interrupted King many times.
He just interrupted Joe.
Yeah, we're biased. Devin literally sat and gave his
I don't know what
5 minutes.
Just because I didn't interrupt him in the last time after I said we were going to try to go to one mic policy.
You finished what I was saying. So
you wasted your time. It was your turn to talk.
He's obviously worked up.
Pepe, let me just finish what I was going to say, guys, because I'm going to go in a second. Leave it to you guys. I'll come back. But I just want to say this statement, right? There's evidence, and it's actually proven now with classified information that's been released, that both Obama, Hillary Clinton, and others sought, and now Obama can because he was president at the time, but Hillary Clinton and others received and sought intelligence from foreign players to help them with Donald Trump. And they actually asked them and actually those players, some of them called and said, hey, we have information. Now you have the principal herself saying, I want to know this intel. The principal here, you don't have the principal, Donald Trump, saying, I want to know this intel. But you have the principal wanting it, and you have the campaign chair, John Podesta, heavily involved in these. In fact, his email was hacked. And there's actually evidence that came from his emails that show that they were asking for this kind of information involving the Steele dossier. That's what you missed, Joe, about that, is the connection to the Hillary Clinton campaign on that. So if what it said was they saw an opportunity to get information and dirt on their partner from the Russians, well, why is he not saying, yeah, and Hillary did the same shit, but no one investigated her, and there was no investigation into her. There was no rating. There was nothing there. I would like to understand why that was acceptable for her to do it.
It wasn't.
Involved in the conversations, and not.
Yeah, King. I said. Funny enough, I was being interrupted, but one of the first things I said when I started to reply is, no, I'm no fan of Obama. I'm no fan of Hillary Clinton. Her email scandal, her laptop scandal, the Hunter Biden stuff, all of that. No, I was right there with. Like I said, I'm independent mostly anyway. So you got no contest on that with me in full agreement. That's why I was getting frustrated, because it's like on both sides of the aisle, it feels like you're chronically dealing with bias. If any Democrat was wrapped up in this kind of shit, no one would be, you don't have a smoking gun. That's why I opened up with OJ, because I'm like, let's just fucking lay our cards on the table. Just say OJ's innocent. Let's just say fucking OJ's innocent.
We can have dialogue.
Because at some point,
have dialogue with you. What are you trying to prove? With that
it
point,
wasn't
that humans are biased, that people play sides, that we have a red team and a blue team. Yes, we have ideologues. What's it matter if I think the Democrat Party is the bane of the existence in our country? That they are the root of all the problems.
I mean,
is that a problem?
Whatever you want, just be honest.
I can think whatever I want, but why do I have to?
Just be honest and truthful.
I am honest and truthful.
No, you're not. No, the fuck you're not.
I say this all the time. No,
You're calling it a fucking nothing burger when people are in prison?
The Russia collusion is a nothing burger.
People are in prison, but it's a nothing burger. We spent
millions of dollars on it.
How do you go to prison, Joe?
It was a total nothing came of it.
How do you go to prison on nothing?
Who went to prison? Yeah. Who went to prison?
Paul Manafort was...
Okay, hold on. We need to clear this up. Hold on. And you like it or not, we're mods. Truth, that's just how it goes, okay? If you don't like it, you can always go to a room and start your own room and be a mod.
You're bragging about mod bullying. Well, you're going to claim that you're a...
It's just how it is, okay? So look, Paul Manafort, let me read very clearly. All of the counts that he was found guilty of were tax fraud, bank fraud, failure of disclosing that he had a foreign bank account. This has been stated by Matt.
Yeah,
You
OJ's
keep
innocent. I
repeating-
got you.
He was not convicted for anything to do with the.
Yeah, OJ's innocent. I
You're
heard you.
not
You
being-
got it.
you're-
OJ
you're
didn't
being
do it. The glove didn't
disingenuous
fit,
now,
so you must
Truth.
have quit. I heard you.
And by the way,
Now you're being
You're so fucking
disingenuous.
bad faith. It's crazy.
Now you're being disingenuous.
No, your
you know,
question was who went to
you're
prison. I
throwing-
answered,
you're-
and then you
you're-
said, "Well, it wasn't
You're
what we hoped
throwing
it was."
stones from a glass house. Hold on. You're trying to establish that you have some moral superiority over us, that you're more unbiased than the rest of us, that you're more clean than us.
Yes.
While you are being
I'll think that makes me
disingenuous right here in attributing that the tax crimes and the financial crimes that Paul Manafort was found guilty of somehow also correlates to Donald Trump was in collusion. He was colluding with Russia to win the election. Because that's the accusation politically.
Okay, so Paul Manafort, Michael Cohen, Roger Stone, Papadopoulos, Flynn, Gates, Alex Swan, all of those people went to prison.
No, they did not. Not one.
Not one of them went to prison. You want to bet thousands of dollars
Not
on
the
it?
Russia collusion.
I'll bet $1,000.
We didn't say for
Not
Russia
one went
collusion.
to
We said
jail for
related
Russia
to the
collusion.
investigation.
Not one. Not one.
Not one went to jail for Russia collusion. That is a
No,
fact.
stop changing. Stop moving the goalpost. The
No,
question was.
in fact, hold on.
the
You're
que-
being disingenuous again.
Oh,
You're the one moving the goalposts. We're talking about Russia collusion, and now you're trying
The
to
question
bring
was
up.
who? Wait. You said it was
Truth,
financial.
you are
crimes.
the
you
one
just
moving the
gonna lie?
goalposts. You're trying to bring up other people that have been in Trump's orbit, like Michael Cohen, that is a clear rat and has turned on him for political purposes, and he was bought off by the Clinton machine to go at. This is politics. And this has been the point that I was trying to make
This is
earlier
just
with the
so
Letitia
fucking
James story. And this is this all comes from the boy who cried wolf bullshit. That was the reason I used the analogy in the first place, and that's what got you all worked up. If
No,
you
what
can't
got me
stay
worked
on the
up was
Russia
you wouldn't let me
collusion
finish.
story, you're the one moving the
I
goalpost.
literally started yelling because you started interrupting me repeatedly because you don't like what I'm saying. Fucking 5 seconds in, even someone in the chat agreed. Like you can disagree, but for fuck's sake, have some decorum.
Yeah, you guys
Democratic
did. You guys did. Naveen in particular.
Thank you, Pepe. Like
Democrat agreed
everyone who
with you,
knows me
Truth.
knows I'm
How
respectful.
does that make
bro.
you feel? Hold on. How does it make you feel that I'm aware that a Democrat agreed with you? Yes, I'm an ideologue. Yes, I see people as red team and blue team. That's my.
I don't.
That's,
I just see Americans. Crazy
that's
concept.
fine.
Crazy.
I
fucking
don't
concept.
believe you though. I don't
I don't
believe
care what
that
you
you're
believe.
not
I was
biased.
in high school criticizing Obama
because
my
you
black family.
because you believe
Fuck
the
outta
Russia
here, bro.
collusion
You'll
story.
never have nuts as big as mine. I'd love to see you as a black kid telling your family Obama ain't shit. Fuck out of here, bro. I'm not you. Don't act.
Okay.
Oh, okay. What the fuck?
Bro,
He's got
you were taking this
big chocolate
way
salty
too far.
I don't even know
balls.
why you just bragged about being biased, by the way. That's crazy.
Well, that I'm an ideologue. Okay, so what I said was, and I'll say it again if I have to, that the person that agreed with a Democrat, does that make you feel better? That someone on your side agrees with you?
Well, they didn't agree with my position. They just said you were interrupting him and being biased. You let him speak for 5 minutes. No one him. I spoke for 5 seconds. Is Pepe a Democrat? Even he co-signed that. I doubt Pepe even agrees with me. Do you have any ability, even if you don't know, to go, you know what, I'm probably being unfair? Or are you just like, well, fuck it, I will be unfair?
How much time
Then
have
don't
we
tell me
given
not
you
to
to
get mad.
speak in this room?
Well, I would say this though, the truth. I didn't like the analogy with O.J. Simpson. Not because, yes, obviously most people realized he was guilty. However, these people that were running for office, and they're basically, like the AG there in New York, Letitia James. These are people that were openly talking about how they were going to go target him, and so it's like, oh, it doesn't mean they're. It's not that we're being biased, that we don't think he was guilty, but it's just like this was a mere fishing expedition, and it's just like they had to find something that was like so fucking petty that, I don't know, it rubbed a lot of us the wrong way, and the Russia hoax. I mean, the fact that we know it's like fruit of the poisonous tree. It's where, you had this fucking dossier, and then that ends up leading into this whole thing about Russia collusion, and then, it's like then they can't find anything. But he's found guilty, in the public's eye, because it kept on getting repeated so often, and it was clearly all political, and there is no proof. There was not. What ended up leading the investigation into Russian collusion had nothing to do with something that was observed. It had to do with the fake dossier. That's why, like, a lot of us are kind of just, we're over it. And for years, that is an accusation that everybody swore was true. That was on the left.
Yeah, I can 100% meet you on the middle on that. It was definitely a witch hunt. I remember when it was happening, I was saying that the left was shooting itself in the foot because you have to pick something that's huge and stick to it, but they were trying to throw everything they could to throw it at the wall. And often they were over-promising and under-delivering. So I'm actually in full agreement with that. The only thing I back on was Joe saying, "Oh, it was a nothing burger and it was the boy who cried wolf." I was like, well, hold on. Because anyone who knows me knows I keep it the same all the time. It's like, well, the truth is usually not ideologically motivated. So can we prove there was collusion? Probably not, because anyone who's a functioning conspiracy actor is not going to leave a trail of evidence. That doesn't mean there wasn't a crime committed. That means we can't prove it in a court of law, which is why I referenced OJ. And then even saying, well, no one was arrested. I was like, well, no, people were arrested connected to the investigation. They weren't proven to be tied to the conspiracy theory, but they were lying under oath to protect that conspiracy. And then there's this, like, what about, like, this deflection where it's like, well, no, they got arrested for lying. It's like, what were they lying about? Why aren't you referencing what the lies were about?
Well,
this is only speculation.
The main concern was that Russia. The main concern was show.
All I wanted to say, Matt, was that this guy, Truth, I know he didn't say that he's a Democrat. He said he's an independent, but I like hearing his voice. I mean, I don't agree with everything that he's had to say. Right. Don't get me wrong. I'm sorry, Truth. I don't, but I like hearing you, like, a different opinion. I mean, it's been cool.
I don't say two things.
He is biased, and you want the balance. I think that you're in the other side, and you want the balance.
Two things real quick. One thing I've never understood is if Trump's ideas, and MAGA in this case, was such a, his ideas were so bad that they, why did they have to go through all these lengths to get rid of them this way? Truth. I never understood that part.
Point. No, I'm not mad.
Yeah, I mean, like let him fail on his ideas. Like, literally, you guys, not you, but other people, literally elected Trump based off just making these, in our opinion, just really wild claims. I mean, I don't even know. It's just really weird to me. I didn't know if you had an answer to that, but, like, why not let him fail on his own?
I don't have the answer, but my guess is ties into something I said last night, is that it feels like under Obama, politics became war. I remember watching Fox News talk about Obama's tan suit for like 2 weeks. They called Obamacare communism, even though it was 80% of that was literally created by the Heritage Foundation, Trump's #1 financial backer in his first campaign, mind you. Like, literally, that's ridiculous. It was pushed by Newt Gingrich and adopted by Mitt Romney. Obama's base wanted fucking Medicare for all. And he gave them a revised Mitt Romney bipartisan healthcare bill, and Fox News called it communism. And so here's the thing. I'm only 34. For all I know, it was political war before then, but that's why I said I don't have the answer. I can only tell you my opinion. But from what I saw, it's like all of a sudden under Obama, it became political war and no longer genuine political discourse. And so I think they were just fighting fire with fire. It was like anything Trump did, they had to smear him. Also, I think the left feared Trump because he represented remember in his first election, he positioned himself as the right-wing version of Bernie Sanders. He complimented Sanders a lot. He even agreed with him multiple times on various issues. So he was positioning himself as this wild card. Even the own RNC was trying. Remember, everyone forgets, before the RNC, even his vice president, before the RNC was behind Trump, fucking J.D. Vance called Trump Hitler. So let's not just say it was all DNC, man. Like, the whole industry, the whole machine did not like him, to be fair.
True.
You know.
Look, I don't mean to interrupt you as sort of personal attack. What it is, it's called pancaking or stacking over and over and over and making lots of points. You can make a point, drop the mic, pass it on. We can all have dialogue. Clearly, most people only start to recognize politics at the time when they start paying attention. It's been rather contentious for many years. We can go back to the Bush years with the war and how awful it got, the political discourse then. Let's talk about during Bill Clinton and the Lewinsky trials of what was going on. It was very contentious then. It did not just start being contentious when, and I'm assuming largely you started paying attention.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That's why I even hedged what I said, because I can only go back based off of what I've experienced. I'm not gonna hold you. The Lewinsky thing, 90% of black people vote Democrat. Most of my family's Democrat. They would talk about the Bill Clinton thing, and as a teenager, I heard that. I was like, that's disgusting. And they're like, oh, it's just a dude getting a blowjob from an adult woman. I was like, what the fuck? First of all, he's like a senior citizen. He's old enough to be her grandpa. She's like 20-something, fresh out of college. He's the most powerful man on earth. He's married. Like, this is disgusting. And just because he's our guy, we're going to act like it's okay? No, if he was some regular dude, I think he was a piece of shit. So I've kind of always just been the dude not really liked by either side, because I'm just trying to stay morally.
Exactly.
No, you have moral truth. You have moral truths, and I appreciate that.
So Democrats defended that tooth and nail all the way down to the wire and did for many, many years. It's only now, looking back 30 years, that you get Democrat supporters, a whole new generation that says, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. That it is a big deal. During Clinton, during all that period in time, you should have seen the Democrats, because a lot of people don't like to feel like they've been in their vote. Like it or not, that's just how it is.
Yeah, facts. No, I agree 1,000%. And yeah, just for the record, I don't even think the Russia collusion stuff was the world, because the main conspiracy was just he was working with a foreign to help him win the election. The alleged crime was like they're doing vote industry, they're hacking machines. That shit I never bought into. That doesn't even make sense. How is Russia going to help him hack domestic? That is such a that is like, and they wouldn't need his help for that. So that wouldn't even make sense. To me, I just took it as like he was getting dirt on Hillary and having them hack her emails to leak the emails, but they again don't need him for that. So,
true. But that,
like I said, I think they
the Russians. That didn't come from the Russians. That came from WikiLeaks.
True, but to be fair, wasn't he being harbored by Russia at the time? I can't remember now. Hold on.
No, he was in exile for most of that after the release of that stuff in was it one of the European countries, or no, in one of the Central American countries, right?
I can't remember. I'm checking right now.
Ecuador or something, or
oh, he was in the embassy of Ecuador, South America. No, in London.
in London.
In
Yes, so
Europe,
you're right.
in one of the embassies of Central America. Thanks for pointing it together.
But yeah, so my main thing was just to say it wasn't from my perspective crying wolf, but I will. Actually, look, I'll meet you in the middle and say, because I even said it then, they were blowing it way out of proportion, and by doing that, and they didn't even have to, because by doing that now it's like over promising and under delivering. Right, you're like, oh, he's working with Russia to hack our election machines. They literally said that. I think Rachel Maddow alluded to that. No, like his campaign.
Rachel Maddow could have kept it all that shit going live along more than anybody else.
Mm-hmm. And I got in trouble with my family because I was getting mad at her for that shit. I was like, this is poisoning. All they had to do was tell the truth. All they had to do was say, look, his team is getting dirt on Hillary. They're doing it in unsavory ways. The campaign finance, there's a lot of shady shit going on. But you know what the truth is, and you guys might agree with me at least here. I don't think they could sell it on that level, because it'd be like the Spider-Man meme. Because they do the same shit. So,
Exactly. Yep.
What was the incentive for Rachel Maddow to lie about Russia collusion for so long?
I think MSNBC is like tied in with the DNC. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, remember, Bernie Sanders was like her best friend forever, and then she stabbed him in the back when he ran. That shit, I'll never forget watching that. She used to bring him on all the time and roll out the red carpet, and the second he went against the machine, she stabbed him in the back so fucking fast, it was crazy. So, yeah. That's why I can't stand partisanship. I just can't.
Same, true, same.
I love partisanship. I don't think we would exist in a country that happened. I understand y'all's yearning for it and the desire for it, but that's what doesn't exist and will never exist.
You know what's a good example to me, Joe? Okay, so me and my friend, we were giant Ron Paul fans. Mind you, he's Orthodox Christian, super right-wing. I'm independent, but I vote pretty progressive. And both of us loved Ron Paul. And Ron Paul tried to, caucus and campaign with RNC.
I'm a Christian, but
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm Protestant, not Orthodox, but and so.
I'm Protestant too. Okay, cool. All right, go ahead.
Right? And so we love Ron Paul. Ron Paul got booed at the RNC. You remember when he got booed? To me, that is the example of when partisan politics go. Or when John McCain got booed because he said, hey, let's not call Obama a radical Muslim terrorist. Oh God, the audacity that he said, hey, look, I disagree with him on a lot of stuff. Let's not call him a radical Muslim terrorist. And he got booed. That's why I don't like partisan politics, man. It just ruins the landscape. The conversation gets diluted into flinging shit at each other,
Go ahead, Matt, if you want to.
No, I was just fixing my mic. Looks like the reparations title went away. Now we're doing the Russia. True. So are the other things done? What was the other one? Oh, well, how about the impeachment? Find those valid things that took place or no?
Well, I think the impeachment process was early and reactionary. Ironically, now, I'm not going to lie, now in this term, I'd be a little more sympathetic to it. But when they first pulled it, it felt but the same standard they were using to impeach him would have been used to impeach literally every president before him. Even when they keep trying to say he's a wannabe king because of the Unitarian executive theory, I'm no one minded when Obama expanded the same progress Bush made, and no one was making those claims about Bush or Obama. So,
right.
I definitely think it was overreach there as well.
Because this was kind of like a domino thing. So obviously a lot of us, looked into this Russia hoax and what it was, in our opinion, what it was really not. And then that set the tone, right? This is the issue we we're talking about is the Never Cry Wolf thing, like Joe was mentioning, it just went so sideways, in our opinion, with the other side, that everything else that came after that was just looked at as a complete political witch hunt. Just to destroy, to smear, and not let not win at the ballot box at the end of the day, right? That was my biggest thing. Why couldn't we just, win at the ideas at the ballot box and not do all this, impeach him over a call, right? This is just silliness, And actually, the other one was, I guess, impeachment over. Wasn't it January 6th? Was it the second one?
The Ukraine phone call.
Yeah, but the January 6th was one too, right? That was one that they did, right? After he was president, by the way, after he was out.
I think they tried. No, I think it was the January 6th hearings that they held with the Democrat committees in
He was in the Matrix. I don't know. Is it Joe and then
Can
Joe, you're in the
don't remember?
Matrix. You're in the Matrix, Joe.
Joe, I'm pretty sure Trump was impeached.
Yeah, Joe in the Matrix, Joe.
Yeah, okay. That should be better. You don't remember the January 6th hearings that they held for the House on television at 7 p.m.? It was all a Hollywood show.
Yeah, it was a theater. They actually had a production for it. I remember all that. Yeah, but that was all that he got impeached over the election stuff. I mean, I don't know. Hold on, my dog is. And Joe, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, he was impeached while he wasn't president. It was like a week after that they actually came down with the impeachment when he literally wasn't president. I don't know if you remember that.
What kind of dog do you have?
Is it wrong? Is it wrong that I wish Trump was actually my dad?
Yeah. So I thought the one where he had already lost the election was the Ukraine phone call, wasn't that?
No, there was one in 2019. That's Ukraine, and then we had the 2020 January 6th incident, which he was impeached on. But it went, found not guilty. That was the whole thing. As far as I know, we can double check it, but there was 2 impeachments, right, in total.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. And again, even in those, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, the January 6th thing was definitely sketchy. I don't know if it's criminal or impeach worthy though. It's definitely bordering on the line of it, but I've heard Democrats basically tell people to riot, tell people to fuck shit up. So I don't know. It's, to me again, it's not equal. They're not applying that standard equally.
I like how you put that fuck shit up. That was fun.
Oh yeah, like I mean, this is kind of unrelated, but like even the Charlie Kirk thing, like Democrats constantly do this thing where they will hold Republicans to a standard they're not willing to live up to themselves, right? Like if
for saying that.
No, definitely. And now, to be fair, now when I point the gun at Republicans, don't get mad at me because I pointed at everybody. But no, Democrats have this habit. They have this habit of the morally virtue signal when they're hypocrites, right? Like the BLM protests, which, by the way, I supported to some degree. I don't support destroying people's private property. I think that's fucked up. But I did support the protests in general and the movement. But once it got to property damage, you didn't hear Democrats going, "Oh, that's going too far." It was like, "No, this is what's necessary to send a message." But then when the other side does it, all of a sudden now it's the world's worst thing. So, and they were like, I think we were talking about this last night, like the implication that a bunch of angry people were going to storm the White House and take over the U.S. government is fucking ridiculous. Like, it was never going to happen.
No way we were going to overthrow the government, especially we had no weapons. I mean, I'm not entirely sure you can take over the U.S. government without any weapons, so.
Exactly, and as if occupying the White House now means taking over the White House.
Like, exactly.
Hey, Truth, how do we hold we the people accountable? We the people.
I don't have an answer for that. Hold we the people? I mean, besides law and order.
Our actually republic is built on we the people, not we the government. So J6 was not us going against government. It was the people speaking up for their government, saying that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing by ensuring that our elections are free from corruption. So when people talk about J6, they talk about it in an entirely different, wrong thing. We don't know what insurrection looks like. We've never had it in America. And for us to go around thinking that J6 was us trying to overthrow the government, no, we were trying to tell the government that we the people do not like what happened with the election.
Oh yeah, I hear you on that. But so no, I even used to make the claim, the statement that even if they were trying to do an insurrection, that doesn't by definition make Trump responsible for that. Nor do I think it would have been successful or an actual threat to our democracy. Like, again, occupying a White House does not mean you control it. That's not, like, that's not real.
Exactly.
By the way, Truth.
Are we a democracy? Are we a democracy?
Well, representative republic, pretty close.
And you are there to ensure our right, not to infringe upon them. Nothing that we have in America comes from government. And everything you see in America was not built by government. It was built by we the people. Everything. So it's very disingenuous for the left to keep saying democracy, 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 where most individuals in the United States actually are self-accountable to themselves versus the government getting involved. Yeah, so the redlining was implemented, which is, again, government overreach. That means they violated the will of the people.
Yeah, I wouldn't. The January 6th thing for me is a little. I don't make a habit of telling people how to practice their rights. So, to me, it's. I mean, I think everyone would agree with it. When it turned into a right, it was unacceptable. The protest in and of itself, though, I can't critique that at all. That's just people expressing their First Amendment and expressing their grievance to the. Now, when we talk about hang Mike Pence, when we talk about police officers getting injured, that's where all of a sudden we're crossing a line. But like I said, that it'd be hypocritical for Democrats to complain about that because when their side does anything that looks like it, they will find a way to justify it.
Can we talk about the 200 FBI or FBI informants that were embedded in the crowd on January 6th? Can we talk about the blood on the Zachary Taylor bust? Can we talk about Jacob Chansley, who was escorted throughout the Capitol and yodeled in the Senate Hall and then received jail time? Or maybe Simone Gold, the white coat doctor who had the FBI burst into her apartment, take her into custody barefoot without her ability to her phone and keys, and then dismiss her from the police precinct barefoot without money and resources to find her way home. Can we talk about that? Because she gave a speech in Statuary Star in her hall.
Oh, please do. No, actually, I think this is something that we need to come across the aisle and discuss all the time.
You have to unblock me, by the way, Monica.
I don't have to.
You better. Do you want to stay in the room, or are you going to unblock me?
She
No,
left.
my friend Monica. Don't do that.
She left. But I was going to say to her, we should come across the aisle on this, because I actually, now, people call me a conspiracy theorist for this, but there's a lot of videos that show it. I think a lot of the BLM riots that went bad were inflamed by enforcement agencies undercover, and they were like dressed up as what the fuck is that group called? The anti-fascist people?
Oh,
no,
Antifa?
no, Antifa. I don't know why I blanked on the name. Yeah, Antifa. They were like, oh, it's just Antifa, it's Antifa, but there was even like footage of people taking bricks out of police cars and placing them for people to grab. So it's like, I don't know. I think a lot of times this shit's being orchestrated to divide us further. But again, that's like my tinfoil theories.
What do you think if it's proven? I think we're going to see some stuff here in the next couple of weeks. If the election was stolen, where does that put our country, Truth? Like, where do you feel? I think that makes us into a very precarious predicament. And you're hot, Mike, and.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know. What do you think about that, Truth? If it turns out that there was some funny business going on in the election, what would you say to that?
Honestly, it wouldn't shock me, and I think it would really rock the country because right now tensions are so thick between us. That would be the last thing we need. I'm not gonna lie. I think both sides do it though. I think now I will be honest. I think Democrats are probably more savvy and sophisticated with it, only because, how do I put it? It's like I think they're more tied into money interests. So any way that technology or finances can converge, I do think that's changed recently though. But I don't know. I just don't put anything up against how do I mean to say it? I don't put anything past corrupt politicians or their benefactors. They'll do whatever it takes. So I'm not gonna lie. Connected to that point, I'm genuinely scared for the cohesion of this country because, like, I'm an actual political nerd, so like I just love policy. I love ideas. I just love talking about to solve problems, and I feel like we're getting into culture war territory. We're no longer having respectful discourse a lot of times, and it's almost like Democrats and Republicans now live in total different realities of ideas of what truth is.
Let me ask you, you're a policy guy. What are your top 3 policy issues?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. I was going to ask the same question, Joe. Go ahead.
You're going to hate me for this, but no new wars. Okay, I loved when Trump said no new wars. So I'm really disappointed. And trust me, I get it. I get the nuclear concerns. I think there was other ways that, to be fair, even out of Trump's own, no, I don't think Trump said it. Marco Rubio said it, that we had no intent on launching what's it called? A kinetic war. Like there's other wars to do. I mean, other ways to do war without making it actually kinetic. Until Israel said they were going to do it if we didn't do it first. That's what Rubio said. Now I don't know if that's true or not, but I trust Rubio, so I don't think he's lying. And it makes sense. Israel's been talking about doing it for fucking like 40 years. So, I just feel like there was better ways we could have ensured they didn't get a nuke, short of like, causing all this global chaos.
To me, it's like if you have to go in, if it gets to a point to where you have to go in and actually do a proper invasion because they're getting dangerous and they're like on the cusp of actually getting a nuke and which they weren't really capable, and they had a vehicle system. It's like, okay, you do a proper invasion then, I guess, if you really, really have to. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like this was just fucking this was beyond fucking pointless.
Yeah, it could have been done so much better. And then, so protectionism, and then balancing the budget.
Before you move on this one, see, I know that we all say it could be kinetic or different things. Guys, for 47 years, I have friends that live in Israel. Do you know they've been living in terror for all
these years? It's not, we are the, but we're not Israel, but we're not Israel.
Pepe, hold on. Pepe, I don't care what you think. I don't really, at all. I didn't say we were Israel, but Israel is our ally in the Middle East.
Fuck them. We don't go to war. We don't send our troops into a war and then have all this fallout.
But why are you yelling, Pepe?
For their benefit. Like, that is bullshit.
Pepe, why are you yelling though? Pepe, you can get your point across without yelling, bro.
Well, I'm in my Bluetooth.
Pepe is doing this racist program because he's omnivore.
Okay,
he's performing like this.
Okay, hold on. So truth, what I was saying was that at some point, whether we like it or not, we have allies that we want to protect. We are a sovereign country. Israel's a sovereign country. But at the most important thing, there's 25 nations over there that are not pro-Republic. They anti-West. They hate Israel. They hate America. At some point, they have destabilized the whole region over there, Iran. So let's not make it as if though kinetic, or we could have done this something different. This is the approach that we had. This is the one we took. Right or wrong, I'm still standing with America.
Where I can meet you on that is, I understand that we have interests in the region and they're relevant for global concerns. I'm with Pepe, though, that like this whole world police thing, I think largely it's an excuse to protect our petrodollar status. Like, we don't actually try to save the world. I'm not even mad at that, by the way. Like, I'm kind of black pill on that, where the comforts that we enjoy in America
it's just disingenuous.
Yeah. And so one thing I actually liked about Trump was when he said that we need to encourage more of our UN members and especially NATO members to take more responsibility for the world. Like, we can't just keep deficit spending, having these military bases around the world, and playing fucking Captain Save America. Like, what was that name of that hero? Captain Planet. We can't play Captain Planet, right? Like, it's funny because Democrats got so mad at him for that. But I was like, he's right. What the fuck? Like, why are these NATO members aren't even meeting the threshold of what they're supposed to be contributing to various funds and military ratios of like soldiers ready at any time, and et cetera, and even those levels aren't, in my opinion, nearly as high as they should be. And so I think if we put more pressure on other nations to keep stability, just to keep stability, then we would be less expected to put so much of our budget on the line, because our deficit spending is getting out of control. Now, our military is not the only thing. I think, unfortunately, we probably have to roll back some of our social policies, like our Medicare, Social Security has to be reworked. I'm not saying get rid of it, but it has to be reworked. Like it has to be. That's another thing Democrats don't want to hear. Protectionism, balancing the budget. I hate deficit spending, and reducing the interest on our debt as well. Like, it's fucking insane. Like 15% of our discretionary spending, 15% is just paying the interest on our debt. That's unsustainable, and it's getting higher. And that's one of the things I'm really mad at Trump about, is our inflation is out of fucking control. And rightfully so, Biden was criticized for that, but he's not getting better. So I'm just like, what the fuck? And I blame Israel, not blame them as a country, but like their shit in Iran.
I blame them for a lot.
Well, because their shit in Iran is part of why it's about to blow up. Because now the candle's getting burnt on both ends now. The cost of energy is going up, the cost of gas is going up, that's going to increase logistics. Oh my fucking God. At the same time, we're bleeding money in a desert for what? It's just...
Well, can I touch back on? Because I wanted to touch back on Israel. So here's the thing: you say they're trying to destabilize the Middle East. However, let's not be fucking silly and pretend like Israel has not tried to fucking disrupt and basically destabilize the fucking Middle East. Yes, none of those countries like Israel. We know that. And what does Israel want to do? Destabilize them. The countries. I mean, you had countries that were, for the most part, people romanticized Lebanon as if it was a great place to be, but it was better than most places in the Middle East. But I mean, so like, what ends up happening to what was it? I forget how many hundreds of thousands of people they basically end up kicking out of the fucking country, even people that were not involved in attacking the Israelis. They end up going to Jordan, fucking that place up. Then they go to Lebanon, permanently fuck that place up. We know that Syria, they're not our friends, but Israel's been doing everything they could to undermine Assad. They did it with Hussein. Yes, he's obviously a piece of shit, but like, I don't know what it is with the boomer brain rot that so many Republicans have, where they act like they have this weird, like, hold on, you have this, hold on, no, I didn't interrupt you. No, you have like this really weird religious, like fucking.
Pepe, first of all, you cannot talk about boomer brain rot when you don't have an elevator. You don't have an elevator, bro. You don't. You know nothing about elevator. Yeah, elevator. That means your thought process does not go that high. What you like to do is...
Okay, tell me why we should support Israel besides some bullshit fucking... some bullshit anti-Christian... some anti-Christian, belief that they're part of our empire.
Pepe, would you like to hear, Pepe? Or would you like to just talk?
Yes, but let me guess. They have the democracy. Oh, my.
Oh, my God, Pepe. Pepe, it's so sad that you do not understand history at all. You know nothing about history.
Okay, tell me about this state that's existed since 1948 and what's so fucking important to America. Give me this is all fucking propaganda.
Okay.
Like, we were a great country before they ever fucking existed.
Hey,
I mean, this is stupid.
What are you talking about, Pepe?
You're wrong, Pepe.
Hold on. Pepe, America's 250 years old. What are you talking about?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so be more powerful than Israel. How?
We have older friends that have been better friends than Israel, for sure.
Iran is the oldest country on the planet. It works. Iran is the oldest. People have to be honest with you.
Hey, Peter, 1 second. Pepe, you just say some stuff just because you like them. It's so interesting, Pepe. Pepe, the Republic of the United States, we the people, 1776. Okay, Israel's been around 1,000 years before America was even thought of. And you're sitting around talking as though they became a nation in 1948. This is what I mean by your ignorance of the region. You don't know anything, bro. I'm sorry. You just like to talk.
What about Iran?
Hey, excuse me. I'm not talking about Iran. Peter, I'm not.
Iran is also somewhere in this world.
Peter, do me a favor, Peter. Peter, do me a favor. Thanks. I'm not talking about Iran right now. I'm talking about the fact that I have people come on these apps talking about nations that they have very little knowledge about. Okay? For Pepe to say that America has been more powerful than Israel. Israel's been around 1,000 years, man. Over 1,000 years. So I have no clue where you get your understanding from. Okay? And Pepe, you gotta stop.
We're talking about the current nation state of Israel, not your fucking biblical fag land of Sodom. Like, this is bullshit.
Pepe, I can hear you loud and clear. Your belief system is not my belief system. You're correct. And you cannot deny someone else's belief system because you don't like it. You can't talk about the Jews. You think you don't
tell us how to our nation, how they've been a great ally and how we rely on them for a goddamn thing. They were, even after their formation, they were irrelevant to us until the fucking 60s. More during the, when we were at the heat of the Cold War. This is retarded.
Pepe, I got it. Pepe, I'm asking you a simple question. What truths do you hold to be self-evident?
The sky is blue when there's no clouds.
All men created. I'm asking the same question again. Hold on. I'm asking Pepe the question. I'm asking the same question again, Pepe. What truths do you hold to be self-evident?
That all men are created equal.
There's a bunch of different truths out there.
I'm asking which ones do you hold?
I can list off millions of them probably.
No, just give me one. Just give me one, Pepe.
I am I'm a male.
No.
What is your fucking point? What is the point of this exercise?
My point is, Pepe, you don't know our Constitution. You don't know our rights. You don't know our Declaration of Independence.
Okay, so you're right. Okay, all right. We all know we hold these truths to be self-evident. Yada 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 yada. Okay, so what? What the fuck does this have to do with Israel?
It has a lot to do with Israel, Pepe.
Okay, tell me what it has to do with Israel. Tell us why we need to have fucking exploding gas prices. We need to have basically just turmoil all over the fucking Middle East just for Israel. What is the fucking justification? Especially if we don't actually fucking solve it. Now what negotiating power does he have? None. The president has none.
Pepe, you know why we do this, Pepe? Because we all want to come.
Because Israel talked us into doing it, and Trump's a fucking idiot.
We all want to come to Clubhouse and hear you yell like you think you know something.
You are the one who came on here with the positive claim that you know that Israelis have been terrified for the last 47 years, dude, yada yada yada. So fucking what? It's not our fucking problem. Do you know that there are people starving? There are people starving in Africa that are getting butchered by fucking. If we are going to send people, there's a bunch of other people who would rather fucking help than a first world country like Israel. Like, they can suck a fucking dick.
Pepe, you're really loud. I miss my ears.
Not everybody in Israel is gay, Pepe.
Don't underestimate this aspect.
No, hold on, guys. It just shows you guys how easy it is to hear Pepe speak, and he says nothing at all. Pepe.
You don't say anything. Say something profound about Israel for me.
Edward is being serious.
Wait, go ahead. Say something profound about Israel. I'd love to hear it.
Being serious, Pepe. You're playing a cap. Come on.
I'm going to tell you what's serious about Israel. Support the Republic of the United States of America. Do you understand that? They're our allies. We support them.
So fucking what?
Excuse me. You asked me to give you something. Do you understand joint missions? Do you understand
joint missions? My ass. They never served with us overseas. What the fuck are you talking about?
They are now.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Pepe?
Yeah, by air.
Pepe,
No,
you know what?
troops on the ground. We've had troops on the
Hey, guys,
ground.
Yet our other not so great, our other